Codification. That's the new buzz in this exciting realm of accounting. In an effort to consolidate the oftentimes confusing and disorganized GAAP standards set forth under the umbrella of the Securities and Exchange Commission, GASB has undergone a significant overhaul in organizing and updating these documents. As of September 2009, all existing accounting standards documents have been superseded as described in GASB Statement number 168. Anything not found within codification is now non-authoritative.
I think codification is going to allow a lot of accountants to breathe easier and sleep better at night. The research aspect of accounting among universities and firms will be smooth sailing from here, especially with the simplicity of FASB's codification website. I believe that accountants will find up-to-date information much better instead of unintentionally using old standards, which will allow a large reduction in lawsuits and fraud scandals across the board. And I give that as my professional opinion. This is a big deal. This is huge. I would say this has got to be one of the largest things that has happened to the accounting industry since Sarbanes-Oxley, and that is not a fat comment.
Included among the different sections and topics organized within the codification is a list of 32 industries where exceptions and gaps apply. In this special report, we'll see what kind of exceptions in GAAP FASB's codification entails, specifically in the oil industry. In order to better understand how the accounting process works in the oil industry, let's first take a look at the steps in extracting oil from this beautiful green earth. It starts with land acquisition. Land can be acquired by either purchase or lease. Oftentimes, land acquisition includes the oil company giving the landowner bonus fees, which can range from $15 up to tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the demand per property. When land is acquired, it is considered unproven land until the company can prove that the land has oil to extract. Once the land is acquired, the land is surveyed, sometimes involving specific geological studies, seismic activity tests, and bulldozing. Once the land is ready for extraction, drill wells are built into these oil reserves and the oil extraction begins to take place. So, with all of this involvement in building oil reserves, what's the accounting process? What exceptions are there to GAAP in the oil industry? We've asked Scott Allred to talk with a few professionals in the industry and accounting department to find out the answer.
I went with my colleague Michael Corley, and we interviewed Craig Macbeth, the controller at Sinclair Oil. Although Sinclair is not publicly traded, they try to stick to GAAP, so Mr. Macbeth was able to provide some useful information for us.
So I will record an unproved lease payment on my books. For that, it's a fixed asset that sits on the books. It doesn't depreciate, and we'll hold that until they decide to drill a well. And once they drill the well, then we will capitalize those costs as a lease cost and amortize that over the life of the property.
We gathered much information. However, there was one thing on our minds that we weren't able to get out of Craig.
As we were studying, one of the terms that we came upon was derecognize, and we were wondering, how do you derecognize and what exactly does that mean?
Derecognize?
Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with that?
Never heard that term.
Okay.
Neither had we, so we went to a very invaluable source.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mikey, for taking some time with us today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. 3 minutes, no more.
Okay, can handle that. Our first question is, what is derecognition? We had some confusion with that.
Well, I'm not surprised that you are confused, because that's a very important term that I will be glad to explain to you. Derecognition is basically technically taking an asset or liability that was previously recognized and removing it from a company balance sheet. Did you get it? This point? For example, if a company receives cash to settle a receivable, there are no longer any rights to receive cash from that asset, and guess what? Pow! The receivable is the recognized. The recognition, get it? I guess you do. 3 minutes out.